Welcome back to Hendy Creek. I'm Kyle, sharing my renewed passion for music after turning 40, and today I've got a quick 5-minute review of Noah Kahan's album, Busyhead. If you're new here, I love doing artist discography deep dives where I listen to one artist's entire body of work, and right now I'm doing that with Noah Kahan. Busyhead, being his first album, is actually the second one that I've listened to after starting with Stick Season. If you want to see my review of that album, you can check the link at the top somewhere up there, or you can go down to the description and find a link over to my Patreon. Over there, you'll not only get ad-free versions of these review videos that I post here on YouTube, but you'll also get exclusive reaction videos of me listening to these albums for the first time, along with a bunch of other music related stuff. And again, the link for that is down in the description. But for now, let's put 5 minutes on the clock and see what we thought of Busyhead. Most of the time when I do these artist discography deep dives, I like to do them in chronological order, but for some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but for some reason, in this case with Noah Kahan, I decided to start with Stick Season, his most recent album, first. And I've kind of been wondering if that was a mistake. But after listening to Busyhead now, I have to say, I think I made the right choice. I think I got so much more out of this album having listened to Stick Season first, and I'm very, very glad that I did it this way. I feel like knowing where he is now, or at least where he was when he released Stick Season, made me appreciate a whole lot of the themes and the musical compositions of Busyhead earlier in his career. And it helped me make connections between the two that I probably wouldn't have caught otherwise. So thematically, Busyhead looks at, among other things, ideas of finding your identity as a young adult, or of striking out on your own, the anxiety of finding your own path in life, and the self-doubt that comes with it. It's the stress of trying to figure out who you are and whether or not you can accurately and honestly and authentically present that self to the world, and the second guessing and the anxiety and the lack of confidence and the feeling like a fake. And this album really encompasses that theme both lyrically and musically. On the lyric side, he's just an old soul. He is wise beyond his years. I was particularly taken by the song Youngblood. It's got kind of this shifting perspective between a younger person who is trying to strike out on their own, trying to create a life for themselves, and then an older person, probably somebody important in their lives, giving them advice about it. And the advice was basically, go out and live. Go do your thing. Try and strike out and make something of yourself. Make mistakes. Get into trouble. Figure out how to fix your mistakes. Figure out how to get out of trouble, because that is going to be how you find who you are. Because the person giving that advice is somebody who has been broken down by life, who is a little bit older, probably a little bit more weary and jaded. As somebody who is now of an age to be giving that kind of advice to a younger person, I very strongly connected with that song. The title track, Busyhead, hit me pretty hard as well. It's the pain and loneliness of being stuck in your head, but also knowing that there's a certain comfort in that space. It's about the mask that you have to wear to present yourself to the world, but it's about how that mask wears your soul down, because it means that you can't, or you don't feel comfortable presenting the real you. The whole album really is that struggle of trying to figure out who you are and how to fully embrace that person and be happy with that person, and how to present that person, that idealized, that authentic version of yourself, to the world so that you can be seen and understood. On the music side of things, just like with Stick Season, there's a very solid indie folk foundation here, but with this album, I feel like there was a bit more of a pop element than there was to his later work. I mean, I don't want to say that the album is danceable, but it's approaching it. I definitely at times felt myself kind of moving around in my seat as I was listening. But again, just like with Stick Season, I think Noah Kahan's biggest ability, his biggest attribute in his songwriting, is his ability to have that indie folk home base, but use it as a foundation upon which he can explore a whole range of sounds. That indie folk sentiment is always there with, the kick drum on the quarter notes and the gang vocals and the twangy stringed instrument layered over an acoustic guitar, but he's not afraid to bring in pop elements or country elements or rock elements to give his songs a whole lot of life. It means he can keep his songs sounding fresh because he's not locked into one sound for a full 45-minute album. There's range and dynamics to it, but having that clearly defined home base to come back to gives it a sense of consistency consistency and cohesiveness. One big improvement for me for this album over Stick Season, though, is with the production. Stick Season sounded good for what it was, but it was a bit more straightforward. It was just kind of straightforward indie folk. And for that, it sounded fine, but there wasn't a ton of interesting things going on. There weren't a ton of layers to check out. On Busyhead, though, my ears were engaged the entire time. In the end, I think this album hit me a little bit harder and a little bit more immediately than Stick Season. It just had a bit more of a punch to it. But Stick Season grew significantly over the course of time spent listening to it. So I think all of that is a wash, and I think I ended up at about the same spot, giving this album an 8.5 out of 10, just like I did with Stick Season. And so there's your 5-minute review of Busyhead by Noah Kahan. I'd love to know what you think about this album, though. How does it compare to Stick Season for you? Leave a comment and let me know. If you want to know what else I've been listening to, I've got a weekly newsletter that I put out every Wednesday over on my Patreon. I do a music request stream every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. Link for both of those things are down in the description. I'd love to have you join the conversation. And if you like this video, I would so appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, I'm Kyle, and this is Hendy Creek.
Music was everything to me growing up, but somehow life got in the way, and for 15 years I barely listened to anything new. Now I'm 40 and I'm diving back in, one song, one album at a time, and sharing that journey with you. Welcome to Hendy Creek.